Tiger Woods is back and fresh off his first start in 10 months. We examined Tiger's game tee to green. Off the tee, he hit more than 2/3 of his fairways and wowed the crowds with his distance. Woods just mere percentage points worse with his approaches into the greens in the Hero World Challenge and around the greens. You could call it the good, the bad, and at times the ugly. We break down Tiger's short game and look ahead to where we may see him next. It's all tonight on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
Wow, what a week it was. Tiger Woods not just returning to the big stage, but putting the golf world on notice that he still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. Lisa Cornwell, Tripp Eisenhower. Let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about. And let's start with these highlights. And there were plenty for the 14-time major champion. Tripp, round one here at the par 5 third.
Third shot ball slightly above his feet, trying to hit a cut back into the wind. 260. This is a 2-iron. And boy, oh boy, that was hit on the button right there. Exactly where you had to put it.
I was standing behind him when he hit that, and when he started walking, you knew that that was going to be something special. It certainly was. He would two-putt for birdie there. Still in the first round, now at 14.
This is what I love. You do not see a lot of the younger players taking a pitching wedge from 88 yards, flighting it down. That's exactly what Tiger Woods did. That is textbook right there.
Stopping it on a dime. He would shoot a 69 in round one. Now, in the second round here at 9.
Well, there was pop on his fastball from start to finish. This 282 3-wood. He said he actually took a little off this, Lisa. Believe it or not, off a 3-wood from 282.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
He would fire a 68 in round 2. Everybody, including the Twitter world, going crazy. A few hiccups, though, in round 3.
Yeah, he did. He struggled really from start to finish. This is one of the few highlights that we can show from the third round. Beautiful. Nice little draw riding the wind. That's a 7-iron and a fantastic look at birdie. There weren't many of these, Lisa.
Look, you could see how the winds were blowing. Everybody struggled in round 3. No rounds in the 60s.
You never lose that putting touch, and boy, he had that all week.
His tempo on the greens was just incredible. Let's go to the final round and the famous red and black.
Oh, yeah, I think we've seen that a time or two, haven't we?
We certainly have. The Sunday red for Tiger.
And we've seen this a time or two in his career. Just that golf swing never slowed down. He said he felt great all week long, and why wouldn't you when you're hitting drives like that?
Yeah, and this was a hole, this short par 7 that he eagled in the Pro-Am. The guys were all taking out driver and going for it. Little narrow entryway, and he's able to navigate it, and then this little left to righter.
One of the best putting strokes technically of all time. That is one thing that has never changed.
And he was thrilled, the crowd was too. A really small, intimate crowd. They enjoyed it. A final round 68 for Tiger Woods. How about these numbers, though, Tripp? Some big numbers, actually, days since he completed 72 holes, 364. The day since he shot a final round of 68 or better, 855. And then look at that big number, 2,010 days since he had a final round with 7 birdies and an eagle made. Here's Tiger throughout the week in his own words.
I miss playing golf for fun. Go out there and hit and giggle and play for some denominations and have a good time. I had done that in 2 years. I'd play 9 holes here and 18 holes here, and then I had to take 3 days off because my back was killing me. And I hadn't been able to play fun golf like that with my friends in such a long time. Forget being competitive.
I found the rhythm of the round by the second hole. You know, after I hit that 8-iron in there, pin high, I felt okay. You know, I've got the rhythm. On 3, I smashed a drive down there, and then 265 into the wind with a 2-iron, and just hit on a rope, put it up there on the green. I knew I was back playing again.
One word to describe today.
Successful. I went out there and shot 31 on that for a 9. You know, I built upon what I did yesterday. I cleaned it up.
Tiger Woods now sits alone atop the board.
It feels good. It feels good to be out here fighting again. I've missed the fight, and getting out there and competing and fighting against the golf course and the rest of the guys. It's so much fun, and I just missed doing this. It was a rough start. I mean, whatever I did right ended up in a bad spot, and whatever I did wrong, it was really wrong. I just couldn't get it turned around. It kept going the wrong way. But I birdied 14, but I've already played 4 par 5s, and I haven't made a birdie yet. That's not very good. This is the way I've been playing at home, and when I came down here and played, I was playing very similar to this. Not quite hitting it as far, because I didn't have the adrenaline going. But overall, I'm very pleased. I'm excited the way this week has gone on. You know, with not only the competitive rounds, but also, you know, all the duties at night. It was a very good week.
It certainly was a good week from Tiger. We saw a lot of positives coming out of there. The driver, the putter, the long irons. If there was one issue, and it wasn't like anything we saw a couple of years ago when people were using that yip word. He wasn't there, but he did have a few issues chipping.
Well, he did. And what I think it is, people use the yip word. I don't think it's necessarily that. Now, he does have probably a loss of confidence because of some of the scar tissue that's built up from some of the poor chipping. But I think it comes from being caught in between methods. And I think Tiger used to not be a shaft lean chipper, and he used to be a guy that released the club. Now, the difference is it all has to do with using the back of the sand wedge, which is the bounce. And that's what really great chippers tend to do. Now, there are great chippers that have chipped with just the leading edge, but you have such a fine line and a huge margin for error. And if you look at Tiger Woods in his heyday, he used to release the club. He would return the club back to its address position. And if you look at that, you start here, the shaft is here, it returns exactly to that position. And now he's got a little bit more shaft lean. And again, if you were a shaft lean chipper your whole career, nothing wrong with that. Greg Norman comes to mind. He was a fantastic chipper, but if we saw what Tiger Woods did this last week and where he's going to struggle is on these tight lies with a lot of grain, and that's what Albany presents. Now, I don't think Tiger would have struggled as badly as he did here with his old technique because there is so much more margin for error with it. Just releasing that club more and getting the shaft lean out. And I think it's just going to be a transition period for Tiger to go back to it. We've said this multiple times. You never lose your talent. Tiger was one of the most talented short game players ever. I would put him as one of the top 3 short games in the history of the game. And the players that released the club and used the bounce, as Tiger used to, had a wider variety of shots around the greens. Here he is chipping off the green. We saw this multiple times over the weekend. And this is where I think if Tiger spends some time, he will get back to the way he used to chip so much quicker. You can see the shaft lean here, but he's driving the ball. He's trying to hit it low. That's beautiful contact, and he's got such a small margin for error. He did that absolutely perfectly. But if he got on that same kind of lie at home, he's got a green in his backyard. If he got there and he spent some time on that putting green off a really tight lie and didn't try to drive it, but tried to hit it as high as he could, that's where you're going to really find out if you're using that bounce and returning the club back to its address position. Again, Lisa, he's been there before. I don't think it's going to be a huge amount of time for him to get that back. And then once that technique comes back and he's got a huge variety of shots again, the confidence will skyrocket as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the conditions at Albany. It's interesting. He puts his chipping to the test in what Jordan Spieth honestly called the toughest conditions that they face all year. So a lot that he can learn from this.
Well, it is. But here's the other thing, too. And when on those tight lies, the reason why the bounce is so great is because it absolutely gives you a huge margin for error before the ball and after the ball. You've got about an inch before the ball and an inch after because you're coming in so shallow, and that margin for error gives you the ability to hit it off those difficult lies. So again, I think Tiger's going to figure this out. I think he's going to go look at some tape, go back to what he used to do. And like I said, he had one of the top 3 short games, in my opinion, in the history of the game. He'll have it again.
No doubt. And we watched him throughout the week. He hit a lot of good chip shots. So,
he did.
As you said, the technique can be there and build on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. For more on Tiger, let's go to Matt Adams, Tim Rosafort, and Rex Hoggard.
Lisa, thank you. Rex, you had all week to follow Tiger around. Did you have a sense of ascendancy that solid play was imminent?
I think we all had expectations. We'd all heard the stories about back home playing with Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas and how far he was hitting the ball. got a glimpse of it on Monday, played 9 holes with Patrick Reed, and Patrick Reed could not stop gushing when he came off the golf course. Talked about effortless power, and he was bombing it by Patrick during that practice round. And it just seems he got better and better as the week went by. Look, we're talking about his driver. This used to be a liability for Tiger Woods, and all of a sudden now it's part of his arsenal. It's something he can lean on. So I think that gave everybody a lot of optimism, but I think Ricky Fowler said it best, to be quite frank with you, on Sunday after Ricky had won. He said, I don't think anybody expected him to do better than that. We weren't expecting him to win, to be quite frank. That's not being disrespectful at all. It was just realistic after 10 months away from the game. So it was expectations, but they were very much limited until he actually started playing.
Now, you mentioned Ricky Fowler and the fact that Ricky Fowler told you those comments after Sunday's play was complete. Did you get a chance to speak with any of the other pros after they had completed or after Tiger had completed his tournament to get a sense of how impressed they were once the green light actually went on?
Probably asked a half a dozen guys, can Tiger Woods win in 2018? And point blank, all of them had the exact same answer. Absolutely. Patrick Reed said it flatly. He said, look, I just hope he's not playing the events I play in, because the way he's playing right now, he certainly has the game for it. And I'll go back to a text that Davis Love III sent Tiger on Monday, and Davis told me about this text. It was very, very simple. If you play 20 events a year for the next 3 years, you're going to figure it out. You're an athlete, you're very talented, and as long as you stay healthy, absolutely his peers think he can win again.
Wow, that's impressive. Now, Rosie, obviously it all starts with the foundation of the golf swing. What are you hearing about Tiger's swing now?
Caught up with Butch Harmon today. Pleasantly surprised was the way he described his emotions. The things that stood out to him was how free he was throughout his golf swing. He admitted he was one of those who wondered if Tiger would ever play again, much less be able to compete in tournaments, and now we have to see where it goes from here. But I think it's fantastic for the game of golf and for Tiger, obviously. And he gave a lot of praise to Chris Como, who is really on call more than he is a full-time swing instructor, so to speak. And he said it must be nice to, he sent him a text to Como saying it must be nice to work with Tiger when he's healthy for a change. And obviously he was, and we saw the result.
Where do we go from here then, Rosie? Is there excitement building for what might be Tiger's schedule, say, on the West Coast?
Excitement. All the tournament directors are meeting with the commissioners of the PGA Tour, Jay Monahan and Greg McLaughlin, this week down in Boca Raton. So a big buzz there, and of course up and down the state of California, the tournaments there. Checked in with all 3 today. Steve John at Pebble Beach talked about when Tiger plays in his golf tournament, and in a golf tournament, it represents a 15% increase in everything. He hasn't played at Pebble until since 2012. Phil won that week. Tiger shot 75 on Sunday. Peter Ripa, down at the Farmers Insurance Open tournament director, they usually have the in because Tiger's won there 8 times, including the U.S. Open. But Ripa acknowledges that the priority this year is probably going to be towards Tiger's tournament, the Genesis Open up at Riviera. And talked to Michael Yamaki today, a longtime friend of mine who basically runs the club, and he said he goes way back with Tiger since the first time he played at age 16, and he's always teasing Tiger and back and forth, and Tiger wants to know, Rex, when are you going to change that picture up behind a pro shop counter that shows me here at 16 years old? And Yamaki simply said, when you win, we'll change the photo.
So we shall wait and see when that opportunity arises, because now it's not really a question of if, it's a question of when and a question of where. Lisa?
Still ahead on Golf Central, we'll have to wait just a little while to find out when and where we can expect to see Tiger Woods next year. A certain 2-time major winner, though, is hoping one of the tournaments on his schedule is with him in a team event. From those major winners to the guy many consider to be the best active player without a major, Tripp tells you what gives Ricky Fowler the edge to overcome that hurdle in 2018. Fowler had the edge yesterday in Albany, firing a final round 61 for the win. Did that performance make our best of list? The top 5 final round comebacks of 2017 later in the show.
Golf Central is brought to you by Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Choose the best for your game. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.